headed, 28 points up at three-quarter time, headed by the Magpies. They led for a solitary minute, and then they responded in the manner that you would hope and held on in dramatic circumstances by 6 points. Got a lot to get through, Jason. And
we have.
Gordon.
It was a fascinating game because at half-time we were all a little bit stunned, thinking, oh, Collingwood haven't turned up, Gold Coast have controlled it. But the way it's panned out, for me, makes it a much better win for Gold Coast than had they controlled it for 4 quarters. To be challenged, to then have Collingwood having the game on their terms, to then have to play the best at winning close games in their own sort of little tight space and to come out on top, that's a supreme win that will give them enormous confidence.
You can see the relief. I mean, and that's what it is after games like that, when you set the game up the way that you want to set it up. You come into half-time with a really handy lead against the league leaders in the competition, and to hang on in the end. I mean, some really bad misses for Collingwood, so they will go back and rue that. But you can just see the belief that this football club will get from this game, and the ability to hang on in a tight contest. Who knows how far that can take them this season.
Jeez, we don't see that too often, Gaz, do we?
It's great up on the coast.
Oh, how good. Kick to kick on the ground after the game.
Without having a kick. We'll unpack this. We'll go through this methodically. But there's reasons why you get made captains of football clubs. And they've had a really good captain. Tuke Miller is the only bad news story for today in terms of injury. So he was the former captain, hurt his hamstring. They handed it to Noah Anderson. And he's had a stunning year. He's not the Brownlow medal favourite. He's very close. This is what happened. They got headed for the first time, having led by up to 40 points. Noah Anderson gets the first touch there. He was the one that got the clearance, got the ball moving. They were in all sorts of trouble at this stage, the Gold Coast Suns, and you can be forgiven for thinking, oh, what are they going to say about us now? Ben Long gets a free kick for front-on contact. Ball goes back into the middle. They've got the ascendancy again by 3 points, and the captain says, right, let's put this out of reach. And Noah Anderson does this again. These moments make you as a footballer, and that his legacy then, when we go back and look at this Gold Coast Suns team, they kicked 2 goals for the quarter.
Yeah.
Only 2 goals. That's it. Nothing else. And they all came on the back of Noah Anderson's work in the middle of the ground.
Enhanced his reputation, didn't he?
Oh,
and you can see the emotion that he plays with and the impact it has on his teammates. We know the grit and inside work that Matt Rowell does, but this guy has that touch of class on the outside as well that can do special things.
That was a Jim Beam teammate moment. There's no question. The rest of them look at him and go, thank God you're our skipper.
Yeah, and it's probably the work that's done before you get to that centre bounce. So when Long kicks the goal, the conversations that happen between Witts and the midfielders set up that. So I know you're talking about Anderson, and absolutely you've got to finish the play in the manner that he did. But the way they set up that last play to give them a chance to win, have no doubt that Anderson has his fingerprints over that and the roles that were played. Even his game last week, he just seems like he's one of those players that loves the responsibility. He's not overawed by the responsibility. He loves it, and certainly in moments like that, there's no question this team is right behind him.
So let's just recap there. They're 28 points up at three-quarter time. They've kicked 5 in a row. They're the best come-from-behind team in the competition, the best team at winning close, and Noah Anderson gets 2 clearances and kicks 1 himself and just ensures...
And it results in 2 goals.
Yeah, it results in the only 2 scores for the quarter, and Gold Coast Suns win. That's the heroics. Let's have a look at the last quarter moments, because there were heroics from a Collingwood point of view. Josh Dacos, we'll talk about him in a moment, almost single-handedly. He and Nick and Scott Pendlebury in the middle of the ground, they were relentless going forward. And so this is the vision of a genius. Everyone's going left, and he comes back inside and hits up the man of the moment, Josh Dacos.
I think that was the pattern of the second half, and Josh Dacos has, I think, his highest rated game of his career, which is surprising, thinking of the quality that he's had across his career. But the pattern of the second half was, let's take the corridor on. At no cost, let's take the risk. Let's take the ball back through the corridor.
And
there's some bad misses that'll come up. And I know Horney was speaking about expected score, which would frighten the Collingwood side. But they gave themselves a chance. 35-17 inside 50s in this second term. They had 11 marks inside 50 to 3. So they gave themselves a chance off a magnet being moved into the middle of the ground, which was Josh Dacos. Yeah. And the class that he offered, the vision that he offered through the middle of the ground. Look at this. And this is the Anderson goal, which was a highlight for Anderson. But the way they just slowly brought themselves back into the game from the Collingwood point of view was would give them confidence. I mean, you've got to be a side that puts on a score in quick succession. Collingwood can do it, Geelong can do it, Brisbane can do it, so you're never out of the game.
Great scene. We're going to talk about that man too. When you're building a football club and you're striving to become relevant. They've been a problem child for a long time for the AFL. I don't think they will be for too much longer. And a man that's been there through a lot of this, we get our choice to who we would like to talk to. And JC said, let's get Jared Witts on and have a chat with him. He's seen the good and the bad, and we wonder what he thinks is unfolding now in front of him. Witsy, well done, mate. Pretty exciting times.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Bit too close for comfort at the end there, but we'll take it.
It was. I can imagine all sorts of things are going through your mind. But in terms of how significant this is for this football club, the build-up's been enormous. You're playing a team who have been, superb throughout the year. Just how important was it you did hang on?
Yeah, it was. It was really important. We've got a really important block coming up over the next couple of weeks. So to get a win against a quality team that's been absolutely rolling for the last couple of months, it's going to be huge for our group. And yeah, it was a really big occasion for our footy club. That's our first Friday night game in a long time, if not the first one. So, it was important for us to put on a show and play our brand of footy.
Jared, we were just talking about Noah Anderson and how pivotal he was in sparking that resurgence once you got challenged. So the moment Collingwood hit the front, it's the next centre clearance and the next two centre clearances that Noah Anderson imposed himself. One of them a great little tap from you over the back. What are the conversations that you have when you're going back to the centre square and you go, we have to get this centre clearance?
Yeah, I think in that instant we had to change it up. They'd obviously won the first few of that quarter and we had to throw something different at them. And essentially we just had to keep playing the game. Couldn't go into our shell. So Noz is really impressive with the way he understands space and he can adjust on the fly. And he said, if you can get it there, I'll be open. So, we obviously had to keep playing the game and we went for it and it come off. So, yeah.
Just talk us through a half-time. I mean, you keep the Collingwood Football Club to 0 goals at half-time, the conversations that happened then, and then also the way the game changed in the second half. Who were the players that were out there and recognised? I mean, it seemed quite obvious that Collingwood were trying to bring the ball back into the corridor. What are those conversations like?
Yeah, I think we understood that they obviously were chasing a score, so they're going to take the game on, and when they get up and rolling, that's really hard. But obviously we need to protect the corridor, and I think at times we collapsed in a bit and gave them that too easily. We'll look at that. In a way, it was a game of two halves in that sense, but yeah, we knew they were going to take risk, and they're a really hard team to stop when they've got momentum. So for us to hold steady there in the last quarter and get the lead back was really, like I said, really important for our footy club and our group.
And Jared, let's not downplay the role that you played either. So you're coming up against Darcy Cameron, one of the 4 ruckmen in the competition. You've kept him to his second lowest ranked game of the season. What was your focus in terms of tackling him head to head?
Yeah, I think obviously nothing changes too much for me. There's some good quality rucks around the competition. He's having a really good year, but just trying to get my guys first use, get them into the game and try and get some momentum and some forward half. Time in forward half off the back of our clearance work. So I think at times we're able to do that and build pressure, but like I said in the second half, probably wasn't to the standard that we would have liked.
Which, Gaz said, you've been there for the bad times and now hopefully the good times. What do you recognise as being the difference?
I think we're just really confident in the way we play and the system and style that we're trying to play. We've had 18 months or so to implement it, and I think guys are starting to understand it that little bit better each week and build confidence off really strong performances against quality opposition, and tonight was again that instance.
When Jason used to play on Friday night, Witsy, and had a good night and a good win. He didn't get home till Monday. What happens? There's still a chance for you to get out and have a cold beer tonight or not?
I think we've got a 9-day break, so we'll see. But, no, not me. That was back in the old days when I was at the Collingwood. But my dad now.
Hey, well played. Good on you. Enjoy the win. It's pretty special, and I know you got a pretty tough run home, but it's exciting times ahead. Thanks for your time tonight.
Thanks very much, guys. Appreciate it.